So I don't really have good hamstrings, to the degree that one of my friends said, it looks like you've had a BBL for the last 10 years. Just for whatever reason, I grow glutes really, really easily. And hammies and quads, just not so much. My theory on that is actually because for years I was doing touch and go conventional deadlifts, and my ass would be on fire after that. Every single time my ass was just roasted, right? Oh. Fucking hell, there's a lot of traffic here. Anyway, yeah, so my ass would just be roasted after. For whatever reason, I'm pretty sure it was because of Lane Norton actually, but he said, not so much he said, but you know, he had talked about it where he's like, hey, conventional sumo, it's basically just about your leverages. Do what works for you, do what decreases your injury risk. And I was like, all right, cool. I'd hurt my back doing deadlifts before. So I was like, let's give it a whirl. I didn't personally notice a decrease in injury, but I felt way smoother. Not in like an easier way, but in like it felt like a more natural movement. Like I'm really tall, so reaching down in that way to grab a bar is just, it was like no matter what position I was in, my hips would start to rotate over, right? Yeah, so just the way that my body's built, it was like I would go down, grab it, and I could feel the front of my hips hit my femurs, and okay, this guy and I are both driving like idiots right now. You know when you get on the freeway and it's like, hey, stop here, so you know when to yield? I pretty much never do that, and evidently now it does that guy. So anyway, yeah, hamstrings just don't really grow. Quads also don't grow that much. But glutes, I am an ass-heavy man, and although the ladies seem to love it, I'm kind of at that line where it's like a diminishing, point of diminishing returns. My ass growing more is not improving my prospects in any meaningful way, whereas I think I'd look a little bit better with some better quads and some better hammies, right? So I'm still prioritizing squatting and deadlifting just because I enjoy it. I enjoy it as kind of a more quantified exercise to do. But I am spending a lot more time doing these more machine-focused days where I don't have to worry about, okay, is my core going to be able to brace effectively enough, or am I going to be able to stabilize this way? Just kind of just crank the movement out. And yeah, see you there. So on the downside of this first set, these clips are a little bit, they're not the clips, but the racks are maybe a pinch too high. Then having a rough time racking. Oh. Yeah, those racks are too high. Oh, 2 more sets, we'll make it work. Going low bar and narrow is so weird to adapt to, but In general, my quads feel a lot smoother. I feel like everybody should try out different stances and different racks. Basically, that was a lesson in you're better off racking too low than too high. You know, I just realized I don't know how many reps I'm actually getting on this. That's the nice thing about powerlifting training off percentages is you have like a range that you know you can get. There'll be times where you're like, there's no fucking way I can do that. But then because you know that number, you're able to. Let's get it. Yeah, that felt smooth. When I first started like really training to lift heavier, I started one of my buddies, Jesse Anderson, who actually had a world record squat at one point, was talking about generating torque, generating torque in your feet and your hips when you're squatting, deadlifting, or generating it in your shoulders to lock your lats in when you're benching. And honestly, like, no exaggeration, if that's all you learn to like change some of your lifts, you will lift more. It is remarkable how much of a difference it actually makes just by generating torque, because you feel so much more stable. And honestly, another one for benches, having a wide enough bench, because these like pre-built benches at commercial gyms, like if you're, if you've been training for a couple of years, your back's probably going to be too fucking wide for an average bench. You're going to be rocking back and forth, which you probably see in that last set. Yeah. I'm going to get one more at this way, and we're going to bump it up a little. Not a huge bump, but enough one. That's bang on. That feels good. So, not gonna lie, back's killing me right now. I think having that fucked up rack on the squat, just kind of leaning back and forth to get it up there, kind of pissed it off. So we're gonna leave it kind of nice for the rest of this. And just try to kill through partials. Yep. One more of those. Well, the bathroom was fucking packed today. It's like almost 3 o'clock. So I figure all the resolutioners are kind of starting to pour in and stuff. And I'm not one of those people that like dogs on them. You know, people start training for whatever reason they start training. But as just a general observation, it is fucking packed in there. So I've been tossed. So basically, that's why I'm not doing any posing right now. No physique check. But yeah. Whoops, that is in neutral. You know, probably one of the worst things about hurting your back is it kind of inhibits like everything else in your core, you know? So a lot of people don't necessarily understand why it's like, oh, I hurt my back and everything else shuts off, but it's sort of like a safety thing. Your body's like trying to protect you more or less, right? So it feels this pain and your body wants to, shocker, avoid pain. And one of the ways that it can do that is by inhibiting function around that area. So right now, kind of got that little bit of pain rising up, right? Also, check out these gams from the sauna. Anyway, so it's I'm starting to feel that pain kind of creeping up a little bit more. And usually, for me, this isn't going to be accurate for everybody, but usually for me, the solution there is keep moving. Unfortunately, this is most likely going to cause probably at least a week, maybe 2 week delay as far as squatting and deadlifting goes. I'm just not going to be able to brace that effectively. And honestly, possibly even benching. That might seem like nonsense, but sometimes what'll happen to me is then when I'm doing like my bench setup, just leaning back, just laying back to sit on the bench, even that is too much when I hurt my back. And truly the most annoying thing about this is I know what happened, I know why it happened, and I know I could have prevented it just by going, you know what? Felt a little bit weird that first set, felt a lot weirder that second set, but unfortunately, decided to ignore it like a dummy. And yeah, that's what happens. That's what we get, everybody. That's what I get, I suppose. I'm gonna see if I can slide this over a little bit. Yeah, I can. I don't know if it does anything different really, but I can slide it. Anyway, I'm going to pick up. If you really want to save some money on meat, going through a farmer in your area and just buying a half a cow or a quarter of a cow or whatever it may be, dude, so good. Such a killer deal. 10 out of 10. Can't recommend it highly enough. Yeah, it is ridiculous how much more cost effective it is. In fact, I'm gonna show you guys how much I got. I'm going to pick some up right now from a buddy that actually found somebody, found a farmer to buy it from. So yeah, that's what we're gonna see next, everybody. Alrighty, so here we are with 1/8 of a cow. Got arm roast. We got a lot of really interesting cuts in here too, but yeah, dude, this is freaking wild. There's so many fucking killer cuts in here. I am so pumped right now. Fuck yeah. All right, anyway, that is all, guys. Love you very much. See you soon. Bye.